A war is humanity's oldest and most destructive failure, a collapse of diplomacy that reshapes borders and lives. Even in our high-tech, interconnected world, armed conflict remains a constant threat, with consequences that ripple far beyond the battlefield. The decision to wage war is complex, driven by ambition, fear, and ideology, often masked by political rhetoric. Leaders may justify war as necessary for national interests, but it's ordinary people who bear the brunt of the violence. Today, as conflicts erupt across the globe, we see the same patterns: a breakdown in peaceful relations, fueled by grievances and mistrust. Understanding these root causes is essential, not just to comprehend current events, but to appreciate how fragile peace truly is. War exposes both our capacity for cruelty and our moments of courage, revealing the powerful pull of identity and the dangers of unchecked dominance. By examining why countries go to war, we're not just studying history, we're searching for ways to prevent future tragedies. Only by confronting the roots of conflict can we hope to build a more peaceful world. The stakes could not be higher. At the core of most wars lies a struggle for power, nations seeking to expand influence, secure borders, or prevent rivals from rising. The quest for resources is another timeless trigger. Fertile land, water, oil, and minerals have all sparked conflict. In today's world, control over strategic resources like oil or gas can mean national survival or dominance. Beliefs and ideologies, religious, political, or cultural, can turn disagreements into existential battles, making compromise nearly impossible. People will fight fiercely for identity and deeply held convictions, fueling some of history's most brutal wars. Alliances further complicate matters, turning local disputes into global crises as nations are drawn in by treaties and mutual defense pacts. The First World War's outbreak and today's powerful blocs like NATO show how alliances can escalate conflicts. Ultimately, war is rarely about a single cause. It's a volatile mix of power, resources, beliefs, and entanglements. Understanding these drivers is key to preventing future wars. Sudan's ongoing civil war is a stark example of how internal power struggles can destroy a nation. Since April 2023, rival factions, the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, have plunged the country into chaos, fighting for control rather than ideology. Foreign powers have fueled the conflict with weapons, turning Sudan into a proxy battlefield and deepening the crisis. The result? The world's largest humanitarian disaster, with over half the population in desperate need and millions displaced. Essential services have collapsed, disease and famine are rampant, and the suffering is immense. Sudan's tragedy shows how unchecked power struggles translate into catastrophic human cost. It's a warning of what happens when leaders put ambition above people. The Israel-Iran conflict is a case study in how ideology and power can push nations to the brink. Years of shadow war, cyber attacks, assassinations, and proxy battles have now erupted into direct confrontation. In April 2024, an Israeli strike on an Iranian consular building led to Iran's first-ever direct missile attack on Israel, shattering old boundaries. Both sides responded with calculated force, each trying to deter the other while avoiding all-out war. As of June 2025, tensions remain high, with attacks on Iran's nuclear program escalating the stakes. This is not just about territory. It's a struggle for regional supremacy, rooted in mutual fear and opposing worldviews. The world watches, knowing a misstep could ignite a far wider conflict. The true cost of war is measured in human suffering, not military victories. Civilians bear the brunt, killed, wounded, or forced to flee as refugees, losing homes and livelihoods. War destroys hospitals, schools, and infrastructure, creating fertile ground for famine and disease. The psychological scars, especially for children, last for generations, hindering recovery long after the fighting ends. Social trust is shattered, fueling cycles of hatred and future violence. Economies collapse as resources are diverted from development to destruction, trapping nations in poverty. The aftermath of war is a vicious cycle: violence, displacement, disease, and economic ruin. Rebuilding takes decades, if it happens at all. The devastation extends far beyond the battlefield, affecting entire societies. War's legacy is a crisis that endures long after the guns fall silent. Wars rarely stay contained. Alliances and rivalries quickly draw in outside powers. Major nations provide weapons, intelligence, and support, escalating local conflicts into regional or global crises. Proxy wars, where powerful countries back local forces instead of fighting directly, are now common, especially in the Middle East. Iran's network of militias, like Hezbollah and the Houthis, fights its battles against Israel by proxy, while Israel strikes back to disrupt these groups. Proxy wars inflict immense suffering on host countries, fueling endless violence and instability. The risk of accidental escalation is ever present. A single miscalculation could trigger a much larger war. The Cold War's legacy and today's conflicts in Syria and Yemen show how proxy battles devastate nations. Powerful countries fight at a distance, but it's the local populations who pay the price. Proxy wars are a dangerous game with global consequences. After witnessing the devastation of war, one truth is clear. Conflict is a catastrophe for all. The reasons for war, power, resources, beliefs, may seem compelling, but the cost is always human suffering and lost potential. Peace is not passive. It demands effort, courage, and a commitment to dialogue over violence. Building strong international institutions and addressing root causes like poverty and oppression are essential to preventing war. The benefits of peace are immeasurable. Resources can be used for progress, not destruction. Societies can flourish. The choice is stark. Continue down the path of conflict or commit